Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Media Buff Guys, the podcast about anything and everything media related. I'm your host, Ed, and tonight we have a full house. Joining me, as always, is Matt, the fellas, Matt and Omar. Say hello, guys.
Hey, how's it going? It's been a while. Granted, this is the first time I've been on video, so take it as it is.
Matt.
It's weird and it's creepy. I need a hug.
And of course, our latest addition to the crew, Miss Layne. Say hello.
Hello.
Hello. She's joining us through Zoom. We'll definitely it's not full house in the house right now, but we all have all the members of the show right now, so that's definitely a plus. So hats off to us for being able to all get together for once.
Everyone together.
I don't want to take my hats off.
And can I point out that this happened after an eclipse? Can I point that out?
After an earthquake as well.
Oh, after an earthquake as well?
And apparently we have locusts, even though they're cicadas.
Wait, there was an earthquake?
Yeah, in New York.
In New York a couple days ago.
Oh, and I think in Taiwan also. Yeah, thank you, Layne. Yeah. Anyways.
Wow, so this is like the rare alignment of the planets kind of thing, right?
Literally, so...
It really is.
So if something bad happens after this episode is recorded, we apologize.
I take no responsibility.
Matt, what did you do?
Nothing.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Alrighty.
Now, before we begin the episode, a quick word from our affiliate, Maono. Maono is one of the... Maono is one of the leading companies in budget-friendly mics and audio interfaces. They sell in over 150 countries and have a variety of items tailored to fit one's budget.
Do they really?
Yes, without
breaking
sure? The bank. Yes, and they have sales too. But
ooh, tell me more.
If you're listening to this...
Tell me more.
God damn it, Omar.
If you're listening to this episode on my YouTube channel, I will leave a link in the description below. And as I've always used code MediaBuff to get 10% off your first purchase. Now, for today's episode, we're going to be talking about reboots and remakes, and whether you're for them, against them, or if they're necessary or not, and basically our thoughts and opinions on them. We'll go over some details and probably use some examples of specific movies. The Crow. God damn it. And we'll just go from there. Now, Matt, since you're the most passionate about this subject and this was your idea.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. Why don't you take the lead, you joke?
Bless you.
Alright, so my opinion about remakes and reboots is getting oversaturated. Okay? Now, I'm kind of like in between, but I lean more towards not really needing them. I think like certain ones do need a remake. Like, for a perfect example, Dead Space.
That's a game.
Yeah, I know. I'm just talking in general for reboots and remakes. Like, it's not going to just be about TV shows. Come on, Ed. Get it together.
Yeah.
We are the media buff.
That's true. Keep going.
But anyways, like, they, in that game, they did a lot. They did, like, little things, like they give Isaac actual speaking lines and things that the original game didn't have. Like, if you play that whole game, your character is silent throughout the whole entire game. You don't even get when a monster jumps out at him.
Well, he does. Are you talking about the 360 and PlayStation version, PlayStation 3 version, right?
Yes.
No, he makes noise. Like when he gets hurt, Yes, he does. You want to bet? Don't argue with me when it comes to about Dead Space. Do not argue with me when it comes to about Dead Space. I am a hardcore fan on that game. But yeah, Isaac doesn't speak, but yes,
on the hardcore.
He does make noises when he gets hurt. Now, I take it you're talking about the remake more so over the original, and are you pro for that one or are you against it?
I'm pro for it, but also like another good example is like when they redid Mafia from like the PlayStation 2 era. You know, the game where you're like a mob guy, go around. Yeah. Okay, so when they remade it, they added and took out some things to help the game make sense more chronologically or coherent with its storytelling. Because there's a few things that didn't quite make sense or add up as the story went on in the original game. So they fixed that. But then you get to the problem childs of this whole topic. Like, recently I watched the remake of Roadhouse, and I was just like, why? Why does this exist?
I think this is, and that's pretty much what inspired this whole topic that we're talking about right now.
No, this has been something that's brewing and festering inside of my hateful little heart.
That was just a tipping point right
Yeah, it kind of was. I mean,
Yeah.
like, Omar, give us some examples of remakes and reboots are not necessary.
Well, what's your take on them, basically?
Basically, my take on them is if the game or the movie / TV show is old enough, it's like from previous generations, and if they want to bring that concept back into like the forefront for the newer generations, sure, fine. It worked well with Resident Evil. It worked well with Final Fantasy VII. TV shows remakes. Mission Impossible was also another franchise that was a
That's actually true.
yeah, and it worked well.
All right, Matt's got something to say.
Yes.
Now, quick note of what you're talking about with Resident Evil.
He's talking about the games.
Yeah, the games.
It's not the movies.
Yeah, I'm talking about Resident Evil 2 and 3, right? Those are the ones that got remade.
Well, when
And
Resident
4.
when Resident Evil 2 got remade, that was more of like a passion project. That's why it was so good.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 3 felt like it was rushed and it was like a cash grab because they're like, oh, this worked with 2, let's do it with 3. And then it wasn't as good. But then they dialed it back and like, all right, let's do 4 and let's do it right. And it's fucking amazing.
Hell yeah.
Isn't Resident Evil 2 the most popular Resident Evil game? I never played the games. I don't really care
4
for them.
is.
So.
In the gaming franchise, 2 still a little above 4, but 4 is what revitalized the franchise.
Yeah, because it's same. It can
4
be
saved
said
the
about
franchise,
Final
yeah.
Fantasy. 7 is like the child or the main game, even though I still think it's kind of overrated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the remakes and the reboot or the remake and rebirth, it's like from the gameplay that I've seen,
Yeah.
it looks pretty gnarly. But when it comes to something that's still relatively new, and they're remaking it just for the fuck of it, no, you can't ride on the coattails. Like sometimes, going back to what I said earlier about if the subject is relatively old and they want to try and bring it back to a new generation, it may work. Sometimes it doesn't. Like the most two recent examples I can think of is Total Recall and the RoboCop movies.
Oh my god. Well, I like RoboCop, but Total Recall was garbage.
I actually liked it because they did take a different premise, a different take of the original source material, but they also did pay homage to it multiple times throughout.
We only need the original one. That is it. It's
I
Arnold or nothing.
Still, I liked it. Kate Beckinsale and Jessica Biel were amazing actresses in those movies.
Oh yeah, I forgot they were in that.
Yeah, and then friggin' the RoboCop movie, it was great. I honestly think that one deserved a sequel, at least one other sequel.
Mm-hmm. I liked it, especially the callbacks to the original one.
Yes,
like, I'll buy that for $1.
How the original RoboCop armor was in its silver color before they painted it black. Ed 209, but like when it comes to just having a cash grab, what's the most recent remake that they did? Because I don't really pay. Oh, Willy Wonka.
I heard that did well though.
Yeah,
I personally didn't care, but I heard it did well.
I like the. I don't know about the new one with Timothy.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
No, I'm talking about the one, the Tim Burton one.
Weird.
Oh yeah. Oh no, that was horrible. Johnny Depp one. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was weird, but it had its moments. I like that.
I almost wanted to strangle Johnny for that one.
No, one of my favorite parts though is just every time he was reminiscing about his dad, Papa. He had that weird ass fucking face. Layne knows what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that movie way too many times.
What about you, Layne? What's your take on remakes and reboots? Like, how do you feel about them?
I'm kind of on the fence about them. Like, I don't think they're, in some senses, they're not needed. It depends on what they're remaking, I think. And if you're gonna remake something that was good, you have to remake it better, which I think a lot of the times is where it these remakes fail
Yeah.
because they don't always do better. Like, they change too much, or they try to, you know, I don't know, do too many things to change it. So then why don't you just make it a different movie?
Exactly.
Um, One of the things I noticed, like, that I can say in video game related is Nintendo was on like a remake streak right now.
Mm.
Like that's all they're doing. Um,
And doing well, by the way.
and yeah, they're doing it well. Like Super Mario RPG just came
Hmm.
out. I think that was one of the bigger ones that came out.
Yeah.
Um, and for a remake, that one was actually pretty decent. It didn't. It's a really long game, so it takes a lot of time to get through it. I dabbled in it for a little while, and from what I remember, compared to the first one, it was pretty comparable. It was, better graphics, updated graphics, obviously, but um, I don't think it was bad. And then there's a lot of the remakes or reboots that they're doing and bringing back older games that um,
Yeah,
I
like
think they're doing a really good job. But at the same time, I feel like it's like, is this just like the nostalgia system, the Switch at this point? But that could be a totally different topic. Um,
Yeah, that could be a
but
topic.
for movies, yeah, it could be. But for movies, for the most part, there's a few that I like, um, that I thought were, um, the best example of this that I can say is when I say like take a good movie and make it better is the It remake.
yeah,
I love that fucking movie.
yeah. A lot of people
I
did like
liked
the
the
remake.
first movie. I liked the original one a lot. I watched it a lot. Um, so I was familiar with it.
Oh yeah.
And so um, I avoided it. I avoided that remake because I was like, I like the original. I don't need this. I was very much not about it. And then someone told me there was like, there was, God, you want to know the reason I watched that movie? Because someone told me there was a Cure song in it, and it was a Cure song that you don't really hear. You don't really hear in movies and stuff because it's a popular one, but it's not one of the ones that like you hear all the time. And so I was like, well, I want to know how they use this movie in this scene, and they used it so well because it's the scene where they're cleaning up all the blood in the
Hmm.
bathroom, and that fucking song is playing, and it's just like, honestly, it's such a fantastic scene. So I can say like that is one of the ones where I'm like, okay, they took a great movie and then they made it better. Um, another thing that another series for television that I thought they did better as a remake was Battlestar Galactica when Sci-Fi took it over.
I
I don't know
liked
if
it.
you guys watched that.
I
Hmm.
Did you guys
haven't
watch
seen it. No.
that?
Now, are you talking about the straight up Battlestar Galactica or that prequel one that they call, I forgot what they called it.
No,
Caprica?
not the
Caprica.
prequel one.
Cap-
I did watch that. No, I'm talking
I
about
did too. It was
Battlestar
terrible.
Galactica.
Haven't seen them. I haven't
I'm
even
talking
seen the
about
It reboots either.
actually Battlestar Galactica
Yeah,
because that one was a remake of
the OG
when
one.
did
Yeah,
that one? Yeah, the OG one from back in the day.
yeah.
And then they did change some stuff in the remake, which I actually think benefited it and made it more interesting. I think they made Boomer's character. I think they Boomer's character was originally a male character, and then they changed it to a female, which I
Hmm.
think made it a little bit more interesting. And so yeah, I really love Battlestar Galactica, and I don't know, maybe I'll get some hate on this, but I really like that the Dread movie.
Yes.
That movie's great.
Dread,
No,
the
Yes.
Dread
shame on
remake.
all of
It
you.
was better than the one with Stallone.
I would.
am the law.
Listen, Carl Urban, like
You're all dead to me.
he's got the mouth and like the jaw and like I don't know, but like that man's like lower half of his face is just so fucking perfect for that helmet.
Hey Lane, I think you're
The whole
drooling.
time. Yeah, maybe. The whole time I was just like, oh man, he's just like he really is like a very believable Dread.
Yeah.
Considering Arnold was like the first Dread, right?
No, it's Sly.
Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah,
Was it Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah.
Okay. What was Arnold in?
a
Oh, he
bunch
was
of
in
other
it.
movies. The Predator.
No, No, he's in that. I get them all confused because they all are like sci-fi movies that all kind of relatively came out around the same
Total
time.
Recall, The Running Man,
Yes,
Terminator,
yes.
obviously.
Terminator.
No, not that. But like, I get them all, and they're all actors with
He's Turbo Man.
dark hair, right? Okay, I just get them confused sometimes. But yeah, so Stallone, Sylvester Stallone is yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'll take Carl Urban as Dredd any day over.
No, I would agree with that though. The Dread movie was great, especially when they did those slow mo like action sequences.
Fine, I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The drug that slows down everything.
Yeah.
Also had a
Yes.
better storyline. It was just
Yeah, and
better, Ed.
Lena Headley was a great like badass villain, and I like that it was a chick, and like everybody in that apartment complex like feared her. Like I thought that was really legit.
Yeah.
But here's a question about the movie Dread with Carl Urban, because it's a comic book series. So is it really a reboot or a remake, or is it just its own story with Judge Dredd?
You consider a second attempt as a remake.
Or you can just call it a standalone also, because Dredd just does a lot of things, and this could have been one of his tasks. Either way, you're all dead to me.
Meh.
I
Good.
will get the law, and we will enforce your punishment.
Go cry in your corner.
I will.
I
With
hate
slide.
it.
I am the law.
And let's not forget that freaking Rob Schneider was in that movie too.
That's true, yeah.
Now,
My
Oh
goodness.
man, I forgot that.
Me personally, I'm more pro reboots to remakes. Like, I will take a reboot over a remake any day, simply because chances are they're gonna turn it into their own thing and go off of that. One perfect example, which started well, just kind of fizzled out, was the J.J. Abrams Star Trek.
Mhm.
They took that franchise, made it their own, because they turned the storyline completely different.
Using time travel shenanigans.
Exactly. But they did a great job of it.
And
It
they
was natural, it was coherent, and it was good.
And they still honored the original source material too.
100%. A lot of callbacks to the originals, a lot of lines that were used. The characters relatively the same.
also had Leonard Nimoy.
Also had the great Leonard Nimoy.
I
But
haven't seen the last one of that trilogy.
oh, it was
but
garbage. No, it fizzles out after the second one.
The second one was good though.
No, the second one was great. I'm just saying after that that's kind of like. See,
Hey,
and that's
Zachary Quinto is an amazing Spock.
he really is.
Yeah.
He really is. Zachary Quinto can Vulcan pinch me any day. But that for me, that's a
Sounds sexual.
I know. That to me, that's a perfect example of a good reboot, not a remake, a good reboot. Now, when it comes to remakes, that is where I've seen movies fall time and time and time and time, and not just films, games, and most recently TV shows.
Which TV show?
It was a living
Which one?
man knows what I'm
Avatar.
talking about.
Which one?
Avatar,
Avatar?
Oh,
the last Airbender.
haven't seen any of it. So
They made a
You're
live
fine.
action.
Now, again, you know, and the thing that just irks me 90% of the time is that you have the original source material, and yet you choose to deviate in such a manner that you ruin everything, where literally people are literally telling you, stick to the source material. It's like the teacher doing an open book test, and you somehow still fail. Like, how does that happen?
you'd be surprised.
I know, that's just the worst part of it too. And we could do a segment on that too. But that's my take on reboots and remakes. I try to be as what's the word I'm looking for, like as optimistic when it comes to remakes, especially when
It's a
let's say-
fatal mistake.
I know, especially when some of the original either cast members or directors or whatever are in there to help, but somehow I keep getting let down, which is really irritating.
I don't know. Like for me, when it comes to remakes, like how we were saying, if it's done well, then go for it. Like if it's done by the same people who did the original, fine. Like again, going back to Resident Evil 2 apparently was a huge success. Square Enix was Final Fantasy 7. But if Nintendo continues on with their remake trend, the game that they really need to remake, I don't care what anybody says, it needs to be Super Metroid.
Well, we still have the Metroid Prime series getting
And they're also
finished up.
and then they're continuing with Prime 4, right?
Yeah, Prime 4.
Yeah,
And
because I know they remade the first Metroid game as Metroid Zero Mission for the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
And then they made the second Metroid game for the 3DS as Return of Samus, or Samus' Return, however you want to edit it. But they really need to remake that trilogy and bring in freaking Super Metroid and then continue on Fusion.
I mean, I wouldn't mind playing Fusion in HD. That would be badass.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be in the graphics as Dread, just HD, just like high res freaking.
Yeah, no,
Art
so
design.
it pops. Like,
Yeah.
Dread did a fantastic job turning a Metroid game into, I guess you can call it modern style graphically. So if they could do that for the OG ones, people will shit their bricks and pay out of the ass for that one.
Yeah, I would.
A lot of people would. I would.
Yes.
Yeah,
See?
we all would.
And actually, I do have to admit I still haven't gotten Dread for my Switch though.
I thought you did. Oh no, Matt, you got it.
Yes.
Oh man, I have it. It's hard. It gives me anxiety.
I can understand that. That
Yeah,
game,
aren't
that
they-
game will test your metal.
Like the
Emmys?
fucking sound that those things.
The
make.
Emmys. It's interesting
It's
that
like
they
this boing sound. I'm like, oh, it gives me PTSD.
yeah they make like
It
this
triggers.
like a sonar ping, but like
Yeah,
the shivers down your spine.
If that's what happens, then I love it because one of the things I liked about Fusion was when the freaking SAX was coming after you and those
The sound effect,
the sound
yeah.
effects of the SAX came. I was always just dreading it, just like it gave me anxiety, and I loved it.
Yeah, and see that's
And you will love Dread very much.
Yeah, I am pretty sure I would.
oh yeah. There's other creatures that make some pretty haunting sounds in it too, and when you get to certain levels, you'll definitely like the sound design.
But another video game series that they were trying to remake but didn't do so well, that Matt and I probably almost forgot just now, is the Castlevania series with the Lords of Shadow.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but Castlevania is known as an exploration, like as a platformer, and then they switched off to being Metroidvania style games from the original all the way to what was it, like Symphony of Night, Aria of Sorrow, Dawn of Sorrow.
I feel like after PS1 is.
Yeah, but it was all part of like the same timeline. They rebooted it with the PS3 and 360 Lords of Shadows with Gabriel Belmont and making it more of a God of War style game RPG.
Oh.
And then they made a sequel. They made an prequel / interquel with the Mirror of Fate.
Interquel.
Yeah, that came out on the 3DS. That was later released on the PS3.
What is that?
It takes place in between the first game and the second game, the sequel, which is Lords of Shadow 2, which didn't do so well either. But
Omar over here making up words and shit.
Learning new stuff right there.
I'm like,
it's an actual word.
Get in a
We'll,
sentence, please.
we'll have to look it up, but
Did that spelling bee?
And then there's also the Devil May Cry reboot, but that was not a remake reboot. It was more of like a separate thing.
yeah. Now, I know we've technically already done an episode about this, but I want to touch on something, especially now that Omar's here. An upcoming remake, or would you call it a reboot, Matt?
What?
It's a remake.
Hot garbage.
It's a remake.
So, if you listen to one of our other episodes, we talk about the trailer for the
Toilet
upcoming
water,
film,
like dirty toilet water you
The
flush.
Crow, which Matt, Omar, and Layne are completely in disdain about it, including my wife Jen. By the way, Omar, I haven't told you this, but we're gonna go see that in theaters.
Oh, I know we are.
No,
I
we're
know.
not. Who's this we?
And we're gonna be like, boo, boo this man.
I'm gonna drag all four of you. Wait, 1, 2, 3. All three of you, 4 of you actually, because Jen. And you're gonna sit down and you're gonna watch it, and I'm gonna watch you guys while you watch it, and then I'm gonna probably watch it too, and then we're gonna do an episode about it. But I think
So we were friends.
I know, right?
When did this happen?
But here's the thing: that's one instance right there that a remake that nobody asked for, or a reboot,
Remake.
remake.
Oh.
That's a remake
Oh,
right there.
man.
Perfect
We
example.
didn't even we didn't even talk about the elephant in the room. Well, that Twister.
Oh yeah, they're remaking that one too.
Twister. Oh yeah, fuck.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're remaking
The-
Twister.
That Bill
the
Paxton
tornado?
one. Yeah,
Yeah,
Bill
the
Paxton.
tornado movie.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
with the cows and shit.
I mean, actually, didn't they also recently remake Mean Girls?
Yeah,
Yes, they did.
Yeah, they
Yes,
did.
I didn't even.
It was also a
Hot
musical.
garbage too.
It feels like we're in the hiatus of not hiatus, the height of remakes and reboots right now. Doesn't it seem like that?
Yeah, that's why I want to talk about this. Like, are they necessary? Is this many necessary?
Well,
Well-
keep in mind. I'll let you finish your thought in a little bit, but keep in mind, I feel like part of the reason that's been going on is because COVID and the writer's strike put such a damper in Hollywood. They are literally scraping the bottom of the barrel, and this is why this is happening.
I could probably explain Roadhouse because,
Roadhouse.
like, first of all,
Definitely explains Twister.
yeah. But like with Roadhouse, oh my god! First of all, I saw like some comments about it, and like Conor McGregor's acting. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, he did good his first time." Blah blah. Like, no, he did not. That motherfucker cannot act. He can punch people in the face for a living, but he cannot act whatsoever.
Didn't people say the same thing about John Cena and The Rock?
I mean, I've
Actually, here's the thing about the guys in WWE. They are already acting.
yeah.
That's true.
No, but
They just
there's been a
do
couple
it-
films I
they-
like.
They just go out and do it live and improv it the whole time. And so, like, of course, like they're gonna do good on a film set because they already do it. UFC fighters, they don't do that. They just go out in the ring and beat the shit out of each other.
I guess.
But I feel like we can all agree that it's a hit or a miss.
But what I was also going to
A
say,
lot of times a miss.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so with the original like Roadhouse movie, the Patrick Swayze's Dalton, he was a professional bouncer, right?
Which was a thing apparently.
Yeah, that was his character. So like, when the guy went to go look for him, to hire him to get his bar up and running, and the reason is because A, Dalton was the best, and B, he made a bar good and run clean. It wasn't just some place where people got drunk and got into fights, because he had a set of rules, and one of the rules was pretty much use force only when necessary and as a last result.
Well, it was be nice until it's time not to be nice. If you're gonna quote the film, do it right.
I wasn't quoting the film, all right? I don't need to. I was explaining the rules, Edwina.
Regardless, no, yeah, that's one of the premises that made that film great.
But okay, so then with Jake Gyllenhaal's Dalton, he's just some former UFC fighter, and he's like super tough, and that's why the person hires him. And it's like, okay, but why? Like, I mean, it wasn't until like a third through the movie you understand why she's looking for tough guys to be bouncers at her bar, because there is a plot to the movie.
It creeped up out of nowhere.
It creeps up out of nowhere, and it's just like, okay, but why?
When did this turn into a review for the reboot of Roadhouse?
I've never seen
not-
it either.
I'm just using it as a comparison. All right.
No, I understand.
For like a bad reboot. I mean,
No, and that goes back to my original point. 90% of the time, it's a miss, and 90% of the time, nobody asked for it. You see these studios who constantly prey on our nostalgia because it works a lot of the time. You know, simpler time, better time, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's gotten to the point where people are so fed up with it that you literally see them threaten studios, i.e. Sonic, and bully them into making changes. Like, I was kind of hoping that people who are not looking forward to this new Crow movie to band together and force the studio to either reshoot the whole thing or just bow out and cancel it.
You know, the thing is, though, with the Sonic changes, it was for the good of the project.
And that's a great example right
yeah,
there.
and it made the movie successful that they they're spawning 2 sequels and a side story TV series with Knuckles. Granted, and I may be the only one, but I do still want to see the original Sonic full movie with the original Sonic design. As a special, like a special featured Blu-ray or whatever or something or other, I want to see the entire movie with that creepy looking Sonic.
Meow.
Yeah. Just for shits and giggles, but the new Sonic, the redesign of that was perfect.
No, but that's and here's the thing: Sonic wasn't even a remake.
It was a live adaptation.
It wasn't even a reboot. It was a live adaptation. But that's a perfect example of the masses getting together and basically telling the studios, "This is what we want. This is what you need to deliver," and the studio actually listening. Now, if you look at any reboot out right now, anybody who is raised by it or grew up with it, they have made their voices like obvious that this is either not what they want or this isn't how they want it. And if you go on any Crow trailer video, the comment section is littered with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys have said this before on the radio, but I'm gonna add it again. But with the Crow, they didn't have to remake the original with Eric Draven. There's so many different comic stories about the Crow that they could have adapted. Hell, they could have made their own character.
That's true.
And made their own story, just follow the same guidelines of the Crow itself.
Yeah.
And that's basically what they did with the original sequels. Yes, there's like 4 sequels, and then they...
I actually didn't know about that. And there's a TV show, apparently.
There's 2 sequels, 3 sequels. And then a TV series, which is kind of an adaptation / expansion of the first movie, because Eric Draven was still the main character. They added some new plot elements to make the series more entertaining, more interesting, like adding a antithesis to the Crow, like a villain version of the Crow, which were the snakes or something like that. But yeah, they could have just made their own series, their own movie with this, what's his name, with this actor.
Oh my God, Layne. What's his name again? The actor portraying Eric Draven in the new Crow movie.
Oh, he's the Skarsgård guy.
Yeah, he's one of the Skarsgård. Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah, that's his name. Bill Skarsgård. Yeah.
Bill.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Oh man.
No, but yeah, because I saw the trailer for The Crow, and it has none of the gothic aura, like the dark, intimidating aura of the original Crow series. It's just too much of a generic city kind of thing. The thing that made The Crow special was that, well, not just because of what happened with Brandon Lee, but because the city didn't have a distinctive name. There was no name for it. It looked very much like Detroit.
I thought it was Chicago.
No.
Or Detroit, I mean, yeah.
No, it was Detroit.
No,
they call it the Motor City, and they say Detroit.
No, those were the T-Bird and his people calling themselves like the Motor City, whatever the fuck. But they never named the city. The city was always nameless.
No,
but that's what added to the ambiance of it.
Oh, okay. I always thought that it was Detroit. I mean, it's obviously Detroit, but
it's Detroit.
Just like how Gotham City is like New York and Detroit and Chicago.
Well, I think somebody said Chicago. Like Gotham is actually Chicago. Layne, one thing I know you are pretty prominent when it comes to remakes are video games. Do you see a lot of games come into your store or get bought in your store that were either failed remakes or just remakes that just shouldn't have happened or reboots that just shouldn't have happened?
Not too much. I mean, I kind of base how good stuff is with like how soon it comes and gets traded in. True. So, I mean, I haven't played the Resident Evil remakes, but I really didn't see those games come in like really quickly, so I kind of always had a vibe that they were pretty good remakes.
Amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think the Devil May Cry game came in pretty quick after. I know that.
You're talking about the PS3 version?
Yeah.
The
DMC version with the whack ass wannabe Virgil.
I'm gonna have to.
I don't even know who that character is. I will
defend that game
3.
real quick.
3 was the last one I
if it's about
dabbled
the
in,
gameplay,
and I
I will
didn't do after 3. So I never got into the DMC game.
Yeah, the DMC game.
Yeah, that's what it's called, DMC.
Yeah, no, DMC Devil May Cry. Okay, I want to defend that one real quick. Like, story-wise, yeah, it was retarded. It was crap. Like it could have been better, but the gameplay was phenomenal. for only running for at 30 frames
And didn't they take some of the mechanics from that game and add it to the new ones?
to the main series. Yes.
Yeah.
Some of the mechanics in that game was added into.
That's the only good thing
and-
about the game is the gameplay.
And it goes back to the whole thing of, yeah, even if a remake or a reboot sucks, there's always at least one thing you can find that, okay, that was good.
Not always.
Yeah, and I'm not saying all the time. I'm saying like 90% of the time you can find something, even if it's a joke from or a callback from the original, or let's say they use the same music or one of the same composers. There's one thing that, like, okay, that's kind of the only thing that I liked about this.
Sticking with the video game theme, that I'm pretty sure Lane's played them, maybe, but the two of you, I know you have the Mortal Kombat reboots. What do you think about them? Because I've only played 9.
This is how I would put it, okay? When you had, back in the day, Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter was the better game because, like, how intuitive it was for, like, the combos and things like that. Now, I think that has reversed. I think now that Mortal Kombat is the superior fighting game. Mechanically, and, like, the way you pull off combos and things like that. Because Street Fighter is still the same setup with very little, like, differences.
You yourself know that that's not true, Matt. And you've experienced that in 6. Or did you forget about the new mechanic they added?
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. They added
super
one. They
No,
added
it's
one
like
new.
an easy mode.
Oh, that's a different thing. There's been plenty of fighting games with an easy mode.
Me personally, when it comes to pretty much fighting games in general, so long as the core characters are still there, I don't care what they do with the story. Like, none of the games have a consistent story.
Especially fighting games.
Especially fighting games. Look at Tekken. That is not a consistent story.
Oh, don't get me started with consistent stories. Guilty Gear.
Guilty
Blaze Blue.
Gear. But
SoCal.
But so long as they keep the core characters, the core mechanics, and the core just stuff that you're used to, they could do whatever the hell they want with the story because nobody really cares. Nobody plays the story mode. Well, okay, not everybody cares about the story mode. But as far as Mortal Kombat goes, the new reboot that they did, Mortal Kombat 1, where they basically scrapped everything and went back, which they did in 9, by the way. My personal opinion is that 9 was the perfect one. Like, the mechanics were great. It was very fast and fluid. The character selection was probably one of the biggest next to 10. And on top of that, you had some of the best either dialogue or just like combat moves in any of the other Mortal Kombat games. So good that 9, a lot of the core mechanics from 9 are in all the new ones. The X-rays, they're still there. The dialogue when each character comes in and they see each other, that's still there. Especially unique dialogue from specific characters, that's still there. DLC characters having their old costumes, that's still there. 9 was the pinnacle of Mortal Kombat. And I, to this day, still like this game. And I still own it. Jen loves that game. She played the hell out of that game.
I remember.
I mean, Freddy Krueger, freaking it was Kratos? Yeah, Kratos. And then you have some of the OG characters that aren't even there anymore, like the cop guy I like. Striker, police brutality, coming up.
Racist.
In any case, that, in my opinion, that was the best Mortal Kombat game. These new ones, they try to replicate that, which was almost there. They just changed the core of the characters, which people were pissed.
Yeah, but they got Jean-Claude.
They got Jean-Claude, which people were happy about, but people were mad about the fact that they changed some of the cores of some of the characters. More specifically, Scorpion. They made him Sub-Zero's brother this time, so it's 3 brothers, now 2 brothers.
What?
And they're all... Oh, you didn't know that.
What do you call it?
There's no longer a Shirai Ryu. It's all the
Lin Kuei?
The Lin Kuei, yeah.
No.
No, in 1, I remember reading that Quiet Yang,
Yeah.
who's supposed to be the second Sub-Zero, he's now Scorpion.
He's not Scorpion, yeah.
What the fuck?
But he's from the Lin Kuei now, not the Shirai Ryu.
Bihan is still Sub-Zero from what I heard.
And Noob Saibot is oh my god.
Hanzo?
Hanzo.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That is stupid.
I know.
Lane?
Did you know about
Yeah.
that, Lane? Did I just spoil it?
No, no, I didn't know any of that 'cause I don't really follow a lot of the fighting games.
Well, but that's how you
Um,
know. Sorry, that's how you know
no,
the game just didn't do that well. The fact that not really that many people jumped on that one. I only got it because Jen and I both like playing those games. But we only played the story and that was it. We played like 5 combat matches and that was it. Other than
It's
that,
because I don't have it, and I can hop online and beat your ass.
you can't spam that lame
Here we
move from
go
Scorpion
again.
again.
Here
By
we
the way,
go.
in any case, yeah, that's why I feel like this most recent. I don't even know if you call it a reboot because it's technically a continuation from the older ones. They just wiped the clean slate, the slate clean, and started it over again, just with tweaks here and there. But that's one example where the original or one of the older ones is still somehow better than the new one. And again, that's what studios do. They will feed off our nostalgia, like, oh, let's make this game or this movie or this show almost similar to the original, but let's do something that we want with it, and that is what ruins it.
I think in my opinion, the best Mortal Kombat game out there would always be the Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 or Mortal Kombat Trilogy, where it literally had every character from 3 back.
Yeah, I remember that one. What about what was the one? Is it Armageddon?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Armageddon was the one where that ended the main storyline
Yeah.
from the original continuity, and then that's how we got 9.
That one was good.
And you said, Lane, you say you haven't played any of the games, or you just don't follow?
no,
Are you not
no.
Are you not an
No,
MK fan?
I'm not like a fighting game person. 'Cause
Gotcha.
I usually just play solo stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, going from there, why don't you tell us of a game that you really, really liked back in the day that either got rebooted or remade, and what was your take on it, if you played it?
Um, well, I think we kind of talked about it a little bit already, but like the Metroid Prime, I love Metroid. I have a whole fucking leg tattoo of Ridley and Metroid and
Oh,
Samus.
Ooh,
nice.
nice.
But I hated Metroid Prime when it was relevant came
Yes.
out because I hated the controls of it. I thought it was it was just really hard to shoot and um, do anything like the way that the mechanics of the game was. So
Hmm.
that was one of those games where like I frustratingly just like gave up on it. And I was really fucking excited when they were remaking it because I was like, if there's one thing I hope they fix, it's that damn controls. And that's exactly what they fixed. And so I really I was able to play it, finally actually get through that game and make actual progress in that game. And I love it. Like it's such a great game. I understand why they're making a fourth one,
Hmm.
but like at the same time, I do agree that like a Super Metroid remake would be great.
Oh
Oh
But
yeah.
I
yeah.
think they really just kind of fed us
Yeah.
that dread game to just calm us down a little bit.
Yeah, they helped us scratch the
Uh,
itch, but you know that Metroid is due like for a huge franchise
A huge
revival.
comeback. Yeah.
yeah.
But it.
One remake I also liked, sorry to cut you off, I just thought about it right now, is the Link's Awakening they did for
Mm,
Switch was really good.
I really
Um,
like that one
the
too.
Game
The
Boy
chibi.
game was
Yes.
one of my
It's so
favorites.
cute, so good.
I played the crap out of it,
Hmm.
obviously, and so the remake was really great, and I loved that they, the one thing that they updated it was instead of it going from like you go from one panel and then it slides, you go to the next panel to the next area and it slides over. I like how they made it like a smooth transition, so it
Hmm.
wasn't just like oop, now you're on the next screen like it was in the original game. So I like that smoother transition, so it was kind of just like nicely flowed across to the next
Can we
area you walked into when you went off the screen.
can we get a remake of Link to the Past, please?
We technically did.
Link's Awakening is technically like a sequel slash something or other because it's in within the same.
Mhm. But they technically did do a not a remake, but a
They did a
revitalization
sequel
of Link to the Past.
with A Link Between Worlds.
Yeah, I think that was
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
That was a sequel, but it takes place like hundreds of years after
Okay.
or something like that.
But see, that's a perfect example, and that's a great example too, Lane, of a remake. Actually, yeah, a remake of an older game that you didn't like. Whereas a lot of times they'll remake a game that a lot of people liked and it sucks. But this was a perfect example of a game that you didn't like that was remade and a lot of people liked. Although, for the record, Metroid Prime, despite its crappy controls, and I agree it had crappy controls, it did phenomenally well. And this was also at a time where they were transitioning from 2D to 3D, which nobody wanted. Nobody. Metroid Prime, when it was announced that it was going to be a 3D, a first person shooter, people were pissed about that because one, you don't get a screw attack in that. You don't get a screw attack, and people were mad about that. Two, the platforming in that game was god awful, and I mean, I died a lot of times because of that. Because just
Get good, scrub.
have you ever even played Metroid Prime?
No.
Exactly. Shut up. In any case, but
Try to get past the first intro part is just a pain
oh
in
my
the
god,
ass,
that
so.
first mission in the ship. But in spite of that, it did surprisingly well, and that's part of the reasons we had the sequels, Two Echoes and Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, and now we're gonna get 4. But they built up on that and they made it better. In Echoes, you get your screw attack back, which is great. And Corruption, they somehow were able to blend the 3D aspects with 2D, and that's part of the reason why people now want 4. They just want to see what they can do with the new technology and what they can have Samus do nowadays. Other M's suck, by the way. I'm just putting that one up. Matt, we haven't heard.
Talk about that game.
I know, Matt. We haven't heard from you. I want to touch on a remake when it comes to either movies that you grew up with, like let's say if they were to remake. Oh, and by the way, this is a possibility. Let's say they were to remake Lord of the Rings, which I've heard rumors that they might.
They don't need to. It's already perfect. Leave it alone.
The vein on his
that
forehead just.
wonderful Hobbit trilogy, though.
I have mixed feelings about the Hobbit trilogy because it wasn't
Definitely good.
terrible, but it also just kind of felt like a cash grab. They're like, oh, we have
But you know that's canon, right? That's canon.
Yeah.
the original Hobbit. It's only like that thick of a book, and it's like an only one short animated film.
No, I remember that.
So
That animated film was actually really accurate to the book.
it was,
more than
and so
this.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Lane. Continue.
No, you're good. No, you're good.
So, but with the Hobbit trilogy movies, that is not canon. Like some of it is, a lot
Yeah.
of it isn't because
Well, they talk about the trolls that what's his name takes out. They talk about the war that's going on.
yeah, but they did all that in a smaller book.
Nah, I know.
So,
They took it and they expanded on it, but not, like a good part of it is still canon.
but that's why I have mixed feelings because it like they had Lord of the Rings and then they're like, oh, this did really well, so let's make more of it.
Yeah.
And that's where it felt like a cash
They
grab.
took their time with that though. Like
Yeah,
they
I
didn't
mean,
do the
is
they
it a-
didn't do the Hobbit right away.
It's a good cash grab, I'll say that.
Yeah. I mean, everybody
What
likes.
about that,
Go ahead.
Rings of Power. Did you do the Rings of Power?
Oh, that was a great show.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I need to finish
It
that.
was so good.
It gets a little boring in the first season, but I heard it picks up.
There's only one season of it.
What?
Yeah,
The hell?
yeah.
Oh.
It was only like the first.
You're
10
thinking of the
episodes.
Wheel of Time.
Yeah,
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
and
They came
besides,
out the same-
you get,
That's Lord of the Ring, really?
No.
no,
Oh
Wheel
no.
of Time is its own thing.
yeah.
Okay, never mind then.
Rings of Power is Lord of the Rings, and you get
Okay.
like an early Grégicel. So
Yo, yeah, that I did see like the
Fucking
first 3
badass,
episodes. Yeah,
dude.
I need to finish that one. But let's say they would to do a reboot of the franchise, Matt. What would you say to that?
I don't think it would work.
What if Peter Jackson is in it again, or is controlling it again?
Well, I mean, come on, like Orlando Bloom as Legolas,
Yeah,
Viggo Morrison as the Ranger.
Aragorn.
Yeah, Aragorn.
Strider.
Strider. So many names for that dude.
Different names you're just scolding.
Return of the King.
And, of course,
The one true
yeah, the
king.
one true king. But
One more. Anyways, keep going.
and then the guy that played Sam, Sean.
Sean Astin.
Yeah,
Sean
Sean
Astin,
Astin, and of course,
Mr. Frodo.
yeah. I mean,
Rudy?
that was a great cast of characters,
No, I agree.
and
Liv Tyler is Erwin. Or Arwen. Is it Arwen or Erwin?
no one cares about Liv Tyler.
Ask him. He's a Lord of the Rings nut.
You take that back.
No,
She
like,
was great at it.
it's because she had very few speaking
If
lines.
you want him, come and claim him.
She could still speak the Elvish though.
Yeah, she can.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
we
like,
talked about
if you
that.
put her in a camera longer in front of the camera for longer than 5 minutes, her acting starts to suck.
All right, keep
wouldn't
going,
know.
Matt. What were you saying?
So, like, I don't think it would work well today because they had that movie happened at the perfect time with the right people.
Oh yeah, Lord of the Rings was still very prominent. The book series was really very prominent.
Well, not just that, is like the actors were all in their prime.
That's true.
The vision was
We had
fresh.
Christopher Lee.
You had Christopher Lee.
I know. Yeah.
And so it was just one
Gandalf.
of those projects that just happened
Oh
at
wait,
the
no,
right
it's
time.
Saruman. Yeah.
God damn it, guys.
I'm thinking Saruman.
No, well, I was thinking of a remake that went from bad to good.
Which
Just
was?
Percy Jackson, because they made a live adaptation from the books. Because I enjoy those books.
Yeah, they're good books.
And then the movie sucked. Okay, the movies were garbage.
It wasn't the worst.
Then you watch the TV show, way
I
better.
really liked it actually.
You like the
I
film,
did like
Lane?
that. I didn't like the movies, but I did like the series that they just did.
Yeah.
It's a lot more accurate to the books.
Okay.
I'd have to ask my friend. She's her and her kids watched the series and they read the books.
What about you, Lane? What's something that you hope never gets rebooted or remade?
The Crow.
That's too late for that one. That's gonna be an ongoing joke, by the way, folks.
I don't want them to do any kind of continuation of The Nightmare Before Christmas. And I
They
keep
already
hearing
did.
that they're supposed to be doing maybe I always see these things of like a second one, a pre-sequel, a backstory. And no, Corpse Bride was not connected, so
No, I'm not
don't
talking
like
about that.
say that. Okay, cool.
I'm
Thank
talking.
you. 'Cause
I'm
a
talking
lot of
about the
people were
PlayStation 2
like-
game that came out. It was an official sequel to the movie.
Oh, that's
know.
right. I forgot about that.
That game was kind of dope, though. So.
Yeah, it was cool. Also, they
That
were
game is
featured
also
in
really
Kingdom
rare
Hearts.
and hard to find, so
Yeah.
there's not very many copies of that game, so
It's
most people don't even know that fact. But yeah, I don't know. I just would
But-
really like that.
but you do know-
we don't need a backstory of Jack necessarily. We don't need to figure out how he became the Pumpkin King. We don't need any of that. We can just accept that he is.
That it is what
It-
it is. Sorry there.
It is what it is. Yes.
But you do know that if they were to do a reboot or a continuation, the original cast could return because freaking Catherine O'Hara, she still has the pipes to sing as Sally. And what's his name? The guy who plays Jack.
I don't know, but his singing voice was Danny Elfman.
No, I know. I'm just saying that the guy who voiced him, he can still do it. And of course, Danny Elfman can still sing those songs.
Well, yeah. Oingo Boingo's the best.
Either way, I mean, yeah, no, but I agree. People would probably like riot in the streets if somebody were to do a continuation or remake to Nightmare. I kind of felt like that when
I
they
better not see a live action. Like I better not.
How did-
Like that.
that would be
Disney's doing
terrible.
live action of everything.
did. For the record, that
Except
was
for the
technically
live
a live
action. They're doing everything live action that should not be live action.
That's true.
Like The Lion King,
Yeah.
Alice
I
in
know.
Wonderland,
I know.
or that was Tim Burton as well. But still,
Lion King live action wasn't terrible.
I haven't seen it. But
Check
it's
out the
not live
play.
action.
The live play. That's actually surprisingly good.
I've
If-
seen the
if you
play.
guys-
Yeah,
It was
Broadway.
awesome.
Yeah, the
so
Broadway
really
play. Yeah, I mean it's
Yeah.
award winning. So it is good. How did you feel when they did a continuation to Hocus Pocus, Lane?
Oh my god, that movie was horrible.
It was. It
Um,
was.
I didn't care for it. I understood it was supposed to be like, oh, like new generation relight the candle, but it just didn't work very well
No, it didn't work at
for
all.
me. Same with like The Craft. they did the Craft
I
like
didn't know that.
continuation.
Oh, look
Yeah,
at that.
yeah. So it's supposed to be
Really?
like it's a
I was not aware of that.
continuation, but it's basically set up the same to where like
It's the same movie.
girl moves into town, but instead, they're referring to Nancy. She went crazy. She turned on her coven. Da 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 da. So they're talking about Nancy from the first movie and how she like lost her shit. Um, but it's like, same thing. A new girl moves to town, meets up with the three already established witches, and they make a little coven. And yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. Even though it was supposed to be like a continuation, it wasn't a good continuation.
I actually wasn't even aware of that.
No, I was thinking about Charmed for a minute though.
Wait, they rebooted that?
They rebooted Charmed
Oh man, yeah, they did. They rebooted Charmed, and that was hot garbage too.
When was this?
recently.
A while ago.
But new
Sci-fi.
actresses, right? And it's Prue, Piper, and Paige.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, but it's a completely
Yeah,
different
I think
series.
it is. I think it was literally just like supposed to be the same character.
Oh man, I'm glad I missed that.
It's
They
a
just-
CW show.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a
Man.
CW show, and I feel like everything CW does is terrible.
yeah.
No offense if you like CW, but like, do they really?
Hey, they used to-
What good stuff have they made in the last
Arrowverse.
that slowly went downhill too.
I did. Supernatural. All right.
It's still yeah.
Supernatural.
I guess Supernatural.
Granted,
yeah,
Supernatural
like
was
their
around
one
before it
thing.
was
That's why they
CW.
just
That's
ground
true.
that show into the ground.
It's the WB. Yeah, I think Matt, you were gonna say something right now?
Yeah. I was gonna say like what's like I forgot. Okay. No, like with the Craft continuation, it kind of sounds like the same thing they did with American Psycho. They made American Psycho Part 2, and it's Mila Kunis,
As
who
the daughter of
is the
Patrick Bateman or
yeah.
something like that.
No.
yeah. I watched like the first 15 minutes.
Man,
I'm
I'm
like,
out of it.
I watched like the first 15 minutes of it. I'm like, why am I doing this to myself?
That sequel came out like mid 2000s, early 2010s.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad I missed that. Hot damn. See, they're just.
Everything that I like has already been remade or rebooted at
It's
least
just-
once.
Oh, but going back to Ed's question about things that should never be touched, Batman the animated series.
I wouldn't say don't be touched, but well,
It's fine the way it is.
no, it's not even about
Just
that.
re-release it in 4K.
It's
They
not even.
can't.
It's not even about that you
can't.
can't keep going anymore. But even if you could, and Kevin was still around, people would still want that, especially if Kevin's around, and a lot of the original directors are still around.
Yep.
I am 100% certain that they would still do well, simply because those people are passionate about that work and that series.
Look at Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond, yeah, perfect example.
I'm not saying don't give
No.
us new Batman. Just leave Batman the animated
Oh
series
no, I know.
alone.
Especially now, like if a third party studio that has nothing to do with the original franchise comes in, it's like, you know what we should do? We should reboot the original animated Batman. People will probably murder them. Like they will announce it, and then the next day, 5 bodies found dead, saying, "Do not remake Batman with blood on the wall."
Lane, you're gonna say something?
Then you had something to say?
Oh no, it's okay. Go.
Yeah,
Because I
but-
forgot what I was gonna say now.
Do you have something that you think they just, besides Nightmare, that just should not be touched, like at all, like a reboot or remake or even a continuation?
No, because I feel like a lot of stuff is already like had a continuation or is in the works of getting rebooted. Honestly,
I know. It's like we were too late to stop them.
I know.
We gotta go
right?
back in time, you guys.
We gotta go back
Sarah
in time
Connor,
and
where
then
you at?
record. This.
Yeah, for reals. What about you, Omar? What's something you feel like they should just like never even think about touching it?
This is a tough one because, like I said earlier, like everything that I cared about, they've already touched.
They've
in one
already
way-
sullied.
yeah.
They touched it in the wrong way.
Not necessarily touched, but they've already rebooted or remade it before. Like Freddy Krueger, they remade the movie.
I like that though.
Yeah, I know.
I
like it
didn't.
too.
What?
Though-
I was okay.
With
No,
Jackie Earl Haley. his
Yeah,
name is? Yeah,
Rorschach.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has its
Because
moment.
he's in it, man.
They already rebooted or remade Hellraiser. Haven't seen
Oh,
it.
that's right. They
Haven't
That
seen
movie
it.
was
That not
garbage.
good.
Yeah.
The one with the girl pinhead.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. So.
Yeah.
It was bad because they said they had a much more interesting thing happen, and this was towards the end of the movie. I'm like, you guys should have started with this and based the movie around that. It would have been such a better story.
Oh wow.
And
I
then,
just,
let's go ahead, Lane.
yeah, I felt it was very much lacking in chains. There just wasn't enough chains, you know?
Chains and whips excite
I just
you.
need more chains. It's lacking in the chains.
Yeah,
Not enough BDSM.
exactly. So and then there's also
No, there
there's
was so much chains in the first, all the
Yes, there
original
was.
movies. Everybody was getting hooked by chains.
We have
But
so
the
many
new
things to
movie,
show
there's
such
you.
like
sights to show you.
one or two solid scenes with like the chains, but it's just most of the movie there's
It
not.
needed chains and leather.
I was like, man, this should be more gory than it should be, you know? Well,
Yeah.
that was like one of the biggest things was just like the chains coming in from where they just come in from nowhere and then they hook
That's
you.
true,
And
yeah,
you're all
I remember
just,
That's one of the reasons
like
why I
that
liked
is
it.
terrifying. That was terrifying. But yeah, they didn't really do as much of that this time around. And then the symbiotes were kind of, or the what are they?
Cenobites.
The
Yeah,
Xeno, the are they symbiotes?
Cenobites. No, Cenobites.
Xenobites. Jesus. Yes, Xenobites. Okay, I was getting my symbiotes, my xenomorphs, my xenobites, and all those things.
Nice.
Talk about nerdhead right there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Even they weren't as interesting looking as the ones in the first movie.
Looks like
Kind of
Matt.
like,
Looks like Matt has something to say.
I did, and I kind. Oh, I was gonna say, like, because we started talking about horror movies, a remake that didn't need to happen was Child's Play.
I was gonna say that.
But that did surprisingly well.
It was stupid. And if you like it, you're stupid.
No, I'm just saying, like it did well though. It has its own series now, and it's
No,
doing well.
The
no.
series
no.
is a continuation of the original.
Yes, not the remake.
Oh, you're talking about the other one.
The AI one with Mark
Ah,
Hamill.
yeah.
Yes.
That's what I was gonna say next.
Okay.
That Child's Play was already remade.
Like Child's Play, the original story was awesome. It's about the psychopath killer who puts his soul into a doll or a child's toy, and he continues his murder spree.
Charles Lee, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then the remake is just a fucked up AI that learns to be a murderer, and you don't get any more Hamill until like the last 10 minutes of the film.
Well, okay.
So it's just like it's like another scary robot. Oh no, Skynet again.
Yeah.
Well, so you don't have anything, Omar? Like nothing that hasn't been untouched? Oh, are you afraid to say it because if a studio hears it, they might like, we should remake that.
No.
Like how they put Avatar in Fortnite.
I was gonna say.
How the turns have table dead.
I was gonna say if there was a show or something that they should never touch. Although I'm hearing whispers that they're already trying to reboot it, remake it. It's a 2-for-1. Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel.
I heard those rumors.
If they're to remake it, they won't be able to capture the same spirit and energy as in the original series. Granted, Joss Whedon's a crap guy from what I hear, and yeah, like from everything else that's been happening, especially with Justice League.
Oh yeah.
No, but like he did have some creative genius, and I can separate the art from the artist.
Yeah. I mean, it also probably wouldn't work nowadays,
No,
simply because how sensitive everybody is.
But they did make a continuation of both through the comic books, and it expanded an entire new world, new realm.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. But other than that, there really isn't much, because like I said, everything that I already cared about, they've already remade in one form or another.
Yeah.
Or continued it. But going on the other side of the spectrum, things that they do need to remake. First of all, it's mostly video games for me, because they need to remake Legend of Dragoon.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I've already said Super Metroid.
Yeah.
But there's two games that I really, really want them to remake, especially nowadays.
Let me guess, they're Gundam games.
No. Because they're super old, and one of them I actually just recently remembered about because I saw a video on Facebook. So first one is Altered Beast.
Oh yeah, that's a
Fucking
good one.
love Altered Beast. But the second one, which many people may have forgotten or never replayed, Primal Rage.
Oh yeah, that was a damn good game.
Yes, it was.
It's a good fighting game. Yeah.
Those are the games that need to be remade.
I wouldn't mind seeing those, especially now because the graphics on it would look phenomenal, and you can add more creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Like-
And can you just imagine the transformation sequences
Hell
in
yeah.
Altered Beast?
Hell yeah.
Oh, that'd be so sick.
Yeah, I kind of don't want to say mine simply because
Star Wars.
No, well, no. There's actually already, dude. As crazy as it sounds, there are talks that they want to redo Star Wars.
What about the Alien franchise?
They didn't remake it, but they continued it.
Yeah, they're coming out with a new movie, which I am excited for.
Yeah,
I stopped it. I stopped at Prometheus.
Prometheus. Yeah, that's kind of what killed it for me too. I just went back and reverted. But for me, they've never remade it, but they've done sequels and animated versions of it, and that's Starship Troopers.
Starship.
Now, the only reason I feel like that might be on the table is because of the game Helldivers, because it's so reminiscent that it's actually boosted the popularity of that film and it's become a little relevant. So you see a lot of people talking about it, and there's people asking for either a remake or a reboot of it, which I just don't want. I don't want it.
Yeah.
Only if Casper Van Dien is back in. the main
Exactly. If he's back there as the admiral now, or Doogie Howser.
Neil Patrick
Neil
Harris.
Thank you.
Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris back as Carl, this time an admiral or the commander of the fleet.
They
Then
already did that though.
no, I know they did. I'm
That
just
was
saying.
the third movie, I
Mhm.
think, right?
Now
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if they were to redo the original story with a new cast, that's where I put my foot down. That's where I'm like, no, don't do it. But because of the game Helldivers, if you go on streaming services, the game is the movies gain some popularity now. It's always been a cult classic, but it's gaining a lot more popularity now because of that game, because of the comparisons of that game.
Come on, you apes!
You want to live forever? Red Jack's Roughnecks. No, Rico's Roughnecks. In any case, that's my movie. I just don't ever want to see them redo. Plus, it wouldn't work nowadays. The satire of that film, hell no. I find offense because they say that I have to sacrifice my life to get citizenship. What's that about?
I don't know. People are too sensitive these days.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it wouldn't work. Just like Matt and I were talking about Tropic Thunder, like if they were to redo that or make that film nowadays, it wouldn't work. I mean, not because it's a bad film, but because people are too sensitive about it. Now, that's another reason why some reboots and remakes just shouldn't happen.
Yeah, like what Elaine said about Hocus Pocus.
That was a cash grab, 100%.
Yeah, but like not understanding it or not really being into it because they made the movie, like the jokes and all that stuff, more towards the kids,
Yeah.
which
Plus, they waited too long. If they had done the sequel like 5 years after the original film came out, like great, yeah, it probably would have been better.
Speaking of,
that's because we would understand the material and the jokes that they're going for.
Exactly. What were you gonna say, Omar?
speaking of Lane, what are your thoughts on Beetlejuice?
Oh, that's right.
Oh man, I'm really excited about that movie. Actually,
Yeah, same.
Well, I mean, we're gonna go see that one
it
too.
looks really good. I like that it takes place in the same place, obviously, and that even like the colors they used and the feel of everything
Yeah,
just
it's
felt
the-
like the original Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Because I remember reading commentary that Michael Keaton was on board to always do a sequel with Tim Burton, but they just they've been working on it for years, but the story wasn't right, like it didn't feel right, so they kept working on it. So the fact that Keaton, Burton, Ryder, and Ringwald
Yeah.
are all still part of it.
Well, no, you mean
No, the mom. The,
that's
Catherine
Catherine
O'Hara.
O'Hara.
Yeah, sorry. O'Hara.
But yeah, I mean, that's one of the few times you see a good remake or reboot, or not even reboot,
It's a sequel.
continuation.
But we'll see though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, I think we'll see the passion in there because these are all passionate individuals who are passionate about their work and that are happy to do their work.
And
Like
Michael
they've
Keaton,
all gone on record to say that.
Yeah, Michael Keaton would always whenever he does like Saturday Night Live or just like random things, he would always revert to his old lines as either Beetlejuice or Batman because those are roles that he himself took great passion in. And just like in that Oscars clip that you see with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito, straight face right there. You love that clip.
I had Batman take
Really me out
with
good.
love. But I again, you know, it's a double-edged sword. But again, when the passion is there, I feel like it can be good, but 90% of the time it's not.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you get Even in all the passion in the world, it could still go crashing
Agree,
and burning.
with
And
the wrong studios, maybe.
that too, yeah. Like studios, a lot of the time butcher films. Like you can see the director go out and speak out and say like, "This isn't the film I wanted to make. This is the film they made me make." Like J.J. Abrams and Star Wars. That's not the film he wanted to make. He went on record saying, "This is not what I had planned for this."
Zack Snyder and
Zack Snyder and Justice League. Like a lot of the times, these directors are at the whim of studios, which sucks.
It's because the studios are putting up the money.
Yeah, I know you're at the whim of that, but like maybe you can start doing crowd-funded films.
Hey, if freaking Hollywood is running out of ideas and they're
They
constantly remaking,
they literally are. Like,
constantly doing all these remakes and reboots, buy the rights to my books and
Yeah, yeah.
go ahead and make a movie. Just make sure you follow the damn
source material.
Omar's going to be on site. No, that's not how it happens, you fuck!
Pretty much. Fucking throwing freaking
Where's my
lights
coffee?
around. Like,
He's gonna be smacking interns around. Where's my chaba? But yeah, I guess that's we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up there. Any final thoughts just on reboots and remakes, guys?
Stay away. Just don't do them. There's enough of them.
That's true. What about you, Lane?
Like you said, I don't mind them if they're done well
Mhm.
or better than the original.
Yeah.
But I just think that they most of the time are gonna fail because we have such like ingrained memories and nostalgia of the original stuff, and that we unknowingly just judge the remakes and reboots to the original, maybe without even thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I know I do. Every time I watch a remake, and I'm like, this isn't like this. This doesn't feel like this. Like the whole time I'm watching these damn movies,
Dune seems to be
which
successful.
probably isn't helping them at all. But they do make some good stuff. There are some good remakes.
Yeah,
out there,
it's
so
never all bad.
I'm not like about like them never happening. I'm more so about just
Do it right.
do it right or do it better. Like don't just
Yeah. Don't
do
M Night
whatever, like-
don't M Night Shyamalan on it.
like that. Like the Evil Dead movie was the new Evil Dead movie was so good until you get to like the last scene of that movie, and then it just falls apart.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen the new one. I've only saw the first reboot.
The show was good. The Ash
Yeah,
versus
the
Evil
show
Dead.
wasn't
It was
bad. Yeah,
funny
the
as
Ash
hell.
versus but this is like the one with the mom gets all
Yeah.
crazy.
It had its
That
moments.
one-
Hey,
Yeah,
that was
I think that
super
one was
It
good
had
up
its
until
moments.
I liked
you
it.
get to the end of the movie and like the parking garage.
Uh-huh.
scene,
Yeah,
and
that
it's
part was.
fuck,
That
dude,
part was
what
funny.
the hell, man?
That was Rise of the Evil Dead, right?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one. I saw the first
Oh,
reboot, the
the-
one with the girl, the main character,
Yeah.
and then Ash comes out as in the final
Yeah.
credits scene.
Yeah, but like the mom who turns into the evil thing, she steals the show.
Yeah, she does. Like she does a
Mhm.
really good job about it too.
I'll watch it.
Yeah. I'm gonna watch it again too. What about you, Omar? Any final thoughts?
Shit, I was gonna say something. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, if it's part of a franchise, either stick with the source material,
Mm-hmm.
or if the franchise is big enough to create your own story within said universe, go for it.
Yeah.
Going for a remake or reboot, it shows your lack of creativity. It's too easy of a cash grab. You want to prove yourself. I mean this to the directors, the writers, the creative team, and when it comes to these movies. If you want to prove yourself to be top dogs in the art industry, start from scratch.
True.
If you're going to try and make your own fan fiction based on a universe that's already created, use your own main characters. Use your own created properties, but use the rules of said universe.
Yeah, they're big universes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to create a freaking superhero in Batman's world, go the fuck ahead.
Mhm.
There's prominent source materials that you could pull from. Create your own character and just make simple simple hints and references to the main characters of Batman universe.
Exactly.
There you go, easy peasy. But don't go for the easy grab. That's low hanging fruit. You guys are better than that.
I mean, they should be.
Are they?
should.
I mean,
Yeah.
the track record.
That's why I said
It
they
is-
should be.
Yeah,
Holly, it is Petalwood we're talking about.
yeah, that's true. So that's why
Yeah.
big movie company production. Get my information. Call me, and we'll work out the details. You don't even have to use the books that I've written. You can use the
Omar's going to be the next George R. Martin up in his bitch.
oh fucking yeah. You can use
His fucking book's going to get picked up. He's like, yeah, I'll get to the next one eventually.
yeah. You can use the character.
I
The
never
squirrels
fucking
that-
do it.
Yeah, shit. I have started writing like different, like 400 or 500 different stories that
Oh
I've
my
never
God.
finished. I'm like at least 5 or 6, maybe even 10 chapters in, but I haven't gone full through. But and like to toot my own horn every now and then, I think the material that I have written is good enough to warrant at least 1 or 2 films to flesh out whatever story I have
Yeah.
planned for it. They could take that. They could give me freaking $14 million or whatever, plus royalties,
Yeah.
and I'll be good.
Maybe you can get some ideas from their remake.
Right.
Maybe.
It's like, I guess that does work.
Exactly. But let me write a story for you.
Yeah.
Then we'll talk.
Yeah. But yeah. Again, it double-edged sword. But for me, one thing I would say, anybody even thinking of doing either continuation or reboot, listen to the fans. Like they know what they like, and when I say listen to the fans, I mean the actual fans, not the woke fans or the ones who think this is how it should go. Listen to the people who grew up with the whatever it is you're trying to do. You want to do gargoyles? Listen to the fans.
No gatekeepers.
No gatekeepers, but you want to do something right. Pay attention to what they tell you, and I guarantee you it'll come out. Case in point, Sonic. I'm gonna keep using that one. But yeah, at the end of the day, don't M. Night Shyamalan in it.
But it has a twist.
I hate you.
What a twist.
All right, folks. Well, that's our episode. Thanks for tuning in. We'll have another one not next week, but the week after. And as always, remember, hit that like button and subscribe if you're watching on my YouTube channel. If you're on Spotify, make sure you hit that like button. Follow us. If you want to talk to us, hit us up on Discord. We will try to answer as quickly as possible, and we'll have a discussion going, whatever it is you may have. If you have any ideas, anything you want to talk about or want us to talk about on the show, let us know. So, with that being said, I'll y'all say goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye.